At 5:37 a.m., Stark Tower stands tall against a faintly glowing morning sky, the first light of sunrise washing over the city. Inside, Aunt May slowly wakes. She sits on the edge of her bed in a loose blue robe, her posture heavy with early morning fatigue. She rises carefully and changes into a simple blue blouse and gray shirt, the kind of outfit she's worn for decades. With small, steady steps, she walks out of her room and through the upper level of the tower. As she reaches the doorway, she stops suddenly, surprised to see someone already there. Flustered, she blurts out, "Oh, I'm sorry, before the calm, composed voice in front of her gently reassures. "Don't be, madam." Inside the kitchen, the morning feels far more alive. Jarvis, impeccably dressed and already mid-task, stands at the stove preparing breakfast with the practiced grace of a man who's done this for decades. Aunt May steps in, still adjusting to her surroundings, and Jarvis greets her asking, "So, Miss Parker, how would you like your eggs?" May tries to explain that she only came in to make something simple for Peter and MJ, but Jarvis interrupts her saying, "I'm happy to prepare anything they or you require." May explains that she isn't used to someone cooking for her, certainly not a world-class butler, and she admits she doesn't want to impose. But Jarvis insists there is no inconvenience at all. He begins listing what he normally prepares each morning. Full spread of omelets, eggs benedict, crepes, fresh fruit, bacon, pancakes, waffles. May can hardly believe it. She says that's enough food to open an entire cafe. Jarvis explains that Avengers rarely have time for proper meals later in the day, so he makes sure they start their morning prepared. He explains, "It's important to ensure that they're properly fed before going out into the world to face whatever dire fate awaits them." Touched by his dedication, May sits down at the table and asks how long he's been doing this. Jarvis answers with a straight face that he's been preparing breakfast since shortly before dinosaurs ruled the earth, at least according to Logan. And when May asks if he truly cooks like this every day, he simply nods. Every single day. Moved by his sincerity and perhaps noticing the weariness in his eyes, May tells him gently to sit down. Jarvis, caught off guard, answers, "Yes, madam," before she repeats with a soft smile, "Sit down." Elsewhere in Stark Tower, the morning begins on a calmer note. Peter Parker and Mary Jane stand together at a massive window overlooking the New York skyline, wrapped gently in each other's arms as the sun rises. The view is stunning, the kind of sight most people would dream of waking up to, and MJ admits she could really get used to a place like this. Peter agrees, saying the same. But with the hesitation that hangs in the air, he reminds her that this isn't really their life. Not truly. Stark Tower is only temporary, a place they're staying until things settle. He tells her, "Well, it's not real, is it? This isn't us, this is just where we're staying for a while." And beneath his smile, there's something weighing on him. Aunt May. He's worried about how she's handling all these sudden changes, this new environment, this tower full of superheroes. Peter then says that he's also worried about her. MJ asks why he's worried about her, and Peter gently points out that MJ has her own pressures. Her play is opening in 2 nights, something that should be her top priority, but MJ reassures him that there's nothing to worry about. They know their lines, the cast is ready, and she's prepared. And as for Aunt May, MJ reminds him that the woman has survived everything life has thrown at her. She can take care of herself, and he knows that. Peter is about to respond when another voice suddenly cuts into the moment. "You two coming to breakfast?" Luke Cage, Jessica Drew, and Captain America are waiting by the doorway, urging the couple to hurry before Wolverine empties the entire breakfast spread. Luke tells them, "Logan polishes off everything that's not nailed down or on fire." Jessica tells them that he always makes it a point to be the first one in for breakfast. She even jokes that Logan never met a free meal he didn't like, and right on cue, we cut to Wolverine himself, shirtless, standing in the doorway with a cigar in his mouth and a glass of whiskey in his hand. Smoke curls around him as he stares into the kitchen with complete disbelief and growls, "The hell is this?" Wolverine steps inside. Jarvis, usually composed and in full command of his domain, looks genuinely lost for words. He barely gets out, "Master Logan, before Aunt May steps in, ordering Jarvis to sit down. She reminds him that after all these years of service, it's his turn to be taken care of, and she means it. It's about time somebody did something for you for a change. Jarvis tries to object, stumbling over his words, but she won't let him lift a finger. Wolverine clearly isn't used to anyone challenging him at breakfast. He starts grumbling at May. Look, lady, I'll cut you a little slack because you're Arachno Boy's auntie, but I like my breakfast cooked a certain way. I like it done right, and he barely reaches the halfway point of his complaint when May calmly steps forward saying, "Excuse me," and plucks the cigar right out of his mouth, and without breaking eye contact, dunks it straight into his glass of whiskey. The sizzle cuts through the room. Logan freezes, stunned. May informs him there will be no smoking and no drinking in the breakfast room until afternoon, and that's the earliest. As the other Avengers arrive into the room watching the showdown, May politely asks Logan if he was saying something. Luke Cage can't help himself and calls out, asking Wolverine if he's really going to take that. Logan stares silently at his drowned cigar, face twitching in disbelief. Instead of exploding, he turns toward the door and grumbles that he's going down to the corner for donuts. He tries to leave with whatever dignity he has left, but May adds one last reminder as he goes. He might want to put on a shirt, it's rather brisk outside. She then says, "Besides, I understand there are some rules about proper attire even in this part of New York." Wolverine marches out, leaving the team speechless. The room is still buzzing from Aunt May's takedown of Wolverine when the rest of the Avengers exchanging looks like they just witnessed a cosmic event. Captain America is the first to react, staring in stunned admiration as he mutters a simple, "Wow." Luke Cage follows with a grin, shaking his head as he says moments like that are what happens when titans clash. Jessica Drew always suspected that May could take him. Peter walks up to his aunt and wraps his arms around her. He tells her, "Have I mentioned lately that I love you?" May tells him to go sit down because breakfast is, only for her sentence to be interrupted. "About to be postponed, I'm afraid." Tony Stark strides into the room in full crisis mode. Tony announces that police scanners just picked up something serious. Not one problem, but 4. And they don't have a second to waste. They have to go now. Instantly, the entire team shifts gears, their casual breakfast atmosphere snapping into mission readiness as everyone heads towards the exit. May calls after them, "There'll be egg sandwiches by the door for everyone on the way out." Soon the kitchen empties, leaving only May and Jarvis at the table. She turns to him. "Well, looks like it's just you and me, Jarvis. How was the corned beef hash?" Jarvis sets down his fork and admits with sincere admiration, "Madam, I am in awe." Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel.